My name is Eric Castor. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions. This evening, you are joining us here for the Learning About CCS Career Development and our connection to industry. And with us this evening, we have Shannon McParlton Wells. She is the Executive Director for the Office of Partnerships. So I'm going to turn everything over to Shannon. We will open it up to questions at the end. I don't know, you are welcome to unmute yourself, or if you're a little shy, you're welcome to put any questions that you have in the chat box, which you should find that button down below. So again, thank you all for joining us, and I'll turn this over to you, Shannon.
All right, thank you. Excited to see all of you today. Well, some of you, I can't see all of you, but feel free to share your screen if you want and don't feel like you have to. As I'm going through this presentation, feel free to ask questions as I'm going. This is more of our general career development overview. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the services our office provides, the type of work that we do with the students specifically around considerations for post-graduation, whether that's jobs or grad school or new business, whatever it is, that's what we're here for. So I'm going to talk a lot about that. And then I would love to kind of tailor the conversation a bit more to the folks that we have in the room. So I want to talk specifically about industry relationships for the group that we have here. So if you don't mind, while I'm giving this presentation, if you could just in the chat, even just let me know what departments you're interested in. What I'm going to do is then tailor the very end of the presentation to show you a couple of videos and talk a little bit more specifically about the partnerships we've developed in those spaces. So that's a little homework assignment for you, is just in the chat, if you don't mind, just putting the departments that you're interested in, or if you're joining a specific department, feel free to add that. So with that, I'm going to get started. So just bear with me while I start to share my screen. Here we go. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to ask if everybody can see my screen. I can only see a few people. If you could just nod and say yes. Thumbs up. Okay, that helps. Okay, great.
Good.
Wonderful. So let me start with the Office of Partnerships at CCS. So who are we? We are a group that has been tasked to really think about how to create a really easy way for external audiences to connect with the school while always considering what that means for our students. So you can see here, our office's mission is to engage employers and partners in our programs in our community through meaningful projects and initiatives to prepare our students for successful and sustainable creative practice. So how do we do that? We do that through a few ways. The first being curricular experiential learning, which I'm going to talk about here in a moment, through career development, through our industry partnerships, and through some of our DEI strategies. So our focus is really three areas, like I just mentioned. It's career development, supporting our students throughout their journey at CCS. It's developing and spearheading a lot of industry engagement. And then it's also these creative connections, which is kind of building the bridge between career development and industry engagement. So what does that mean? Well, that means three things. So within career development, our office offers coaching and resources, which we have two career coaches on staff, one that's dedicated for design majors and one that's focused more on art majors. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. We host a variety of on-campus events. So we have major industry day events where students are showcasing the work that they've done and having conversations with industry specifically around opportunities for jobs and internships. And then we also have a ton of portfolio reviews and presentations that happen throughout the year. These are for all departments, not just design specific or art. It's every department. We work really closely with the faculty and chairs from those departments to make sure we're bringing in partners that the students want to talk with. I'll also add that our office is very closely connected with the student body. So we are consistently getting feedback from students on the types of companies they want to work for, who's out there that we're not bringing in, and we actively engage those companies to see if they would participate in some of these activities. So it's definitely a really amazing partnership that we have, not only with our partners that are external, but with our students. Additionally, our industry engagement It runs the gamut, but specifically, we work very closely with our partners to make sure that we're bringing jobs and opportunities directly to students through Handshake, which is the platform we use to highlight jobs and internships that are relevant to art and design students at CCS. We also have InterStride, which is geared more towards international students who may need support with finding jobs that are available in the United States. And then we also have a portfolio website, which is amazing. We have some facts in here that we'll show you, but essentially we use this portfolio website to connect our students directly with industry. And the other way we work very closely with industry is through educational partnerships. So what that entails is sponsored projects, which I'm going to show you some examples at the end. We bring industry directly into the classroom to work hand in hand with our students. We generally will run anywhere between 12 and 15 of these types of projects every single semester. And it also is for all departments. It's not just specific to one area. We have a fairly robust internship program, which I'll speak about shortly. And then, as I mentioned, we host industry day events, networking, and professional opportunities for every department as well. And then our creative connections. So we work closely with the various departments on campus to bring in lecturers that not only do community lectures, but they also have workshops, portfolio reviews, presentations with our students. And these are very well-known people. We just did an art and design symposium for our entertainment arts in our illustration departments, and it was fantastic. So it's such a great resource that we have at CCS to be able to bring in these well-renowned designers that are usually alumni. So we work very closely with the alumni relations department to make sure we're tapping our alumni to come back and work with our students. I think that's one of our greatest assets, is that we have a large alumni network that really helps to support the current students that we have. So here's some partner statistics that I thought I would share. So in this past year, which was 23-24, which is what we have stats for, we offered over 445 one-on-one coaching sessions with current students. This is really a huge opportunity for our students to get to know your career coach. They will work with you to develop cover letters, portfolios, resumes, connect with the jobs that we have and all of the different resources that we can provide. They will work hand in hand with you, starting freshman year all the way through senior year. And also as an alum, you would have similar availability to those career coaches. We have had last year alone, 575 portfolio reviews happen as part of our industry exposure and illustration event. Like, that's a crazy amount. But what we do is we work really closely with our students to figure out where they want to go after they graduate and make sure we're partnering up those students with relevant portfolio reviewers to make sure you're getting that industry perspective on your portfolio as you start to think about what does that mean for you for a job. So we have a very robust system that we use. And I will say this is from last year. This past semester, we did 875. So we've upped our game. And the reason we did that was because we heard from the students that this was what they needed and wanted. They wanted the professional feedback to make sure that they were going in the right direction based on whatever their field was. At this past industry day event, which is just in January, this one was specific to design disciplines. We had over 250 partners attend. And what that means for the students, we hope, is opportunities to talk about internships and jobs. And in just the past 13 years, we've placed over 2,500 students in internships. So internships are a really amazing way to get to know what it's like to work in a professional setting. And I highly encourage these because I think it's important to know what you like and don't like about certain jobs. Like, you might like working on a team or not. You might like working with a small company or a large company. So this is like a safe space to try out different things to figure out what you're looking for a full-time job. And our office is here to help you find that internship. So as I mentioned, we have two career coaches. We have Haley Gary, who's the art majors career coach, and then we have Tom Hicks, who's the design career coach. Both have an art background and are simply just amazing, love working with the students and really being there to mentor and coach them as they need. What they're doing is they're helping students secure those internships and employment. They help with resumes, cover letters, portfolio review, and they their specialties are really about prepping for interviews once you get them. So I would say for sure, when you become a student at CCS, even like your first week, come over and just say hi. You're going to see them on campus. They actually go into the studios and work with the students directly in the studios to make sure that the students get to know them and they feel very comfortable talking one-on-one. So here you can just see like how, since they started, just the level of an increase of coaching sessions that they've had. So they both started around the same time, and they've just increasingly been able to get to more and more students, which is a huge opportunity. Students are using this resource more and more, and I highly encourage you to do the same. So this past year, we've had several lunch and learns. These lunch and learns are really geared towards what the students are telling us they need. There's networking, there's interview 101, there's how to prepare a portfolio for a job or an application. So we are constantly getting feedback from students on what that looks like. And you can see here, they're visiting classrooms, they're meeting with students one-on-one. They're also offering the same opportunity to alumni. Oh, wrong way. There we go. So on-campus events, I talked a little bit about this with the lunch and learns, but we also work closely with our industry partners to come onto campus and talk about their companies. So they will come and let you know what it's like to work at GM or Ford or Disney. I mean, we've had so many. I'm going to show a snapshot of who we've had this past year, but they come and they talk to us. They tell us about their essentially what they're doing at their companies. And then generally we ask those presenters to talk about their career journeys, because we know it's not a one size fits all situation. It's important to understand that like every single story and every single journey is unique, and we're here to help with that journey. And so is our network of partners and alumni. Typically, as part of that, we also do portfolio reviews. So those are generally open to all students. You can sign up to do them, or if it's discipline specific, we'll make sure to talk with you about what that looks like. And then we do offer open houses with other schools if you're considering grad school, or other studio events if you're focusing more on studio art and craft. So I did mention just briefly the website that we have for students. So you can take a look at this if you have time. It's called the website's here. I can put that link in the chat, but this is a relatively new resource that we've established, and the students can actually go on to this website. They can put snapshots of their portfolio, talk about the skill sets that they feel that best represent who they are as an artist and designer. And then they can link their resume and their cover letter to this page. And we send this page out to our industry partners probably 5 or 6 times a year. So we've seen significant traffic on this page. I think when I last saw the data, it was, I want to say over 100,000. I can double check that, in just over 2 years. And it also has an average viewing or click time of 6 times, which means those employers are going on there and they're clicking on people's portfolios. They're looking at this site to match their jobs to these students. I see, Eric, did you?
Two notes. Just want to let you know, I put that in the chat for you.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
don't worry about it. I got you. And I do have a list of the majors that the students joining us this evening are interested in. So whenever you're ready for those, I can read them off to you so you don't have to look through the chat.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great. Yeah, because I want to pull up specific projects that are relative to those departments. So appreciate that. So
just let me know when.
And I'll get the information too about the website portfolio traffic if it's helpful for any of the students here today or parents. So Handshake is the other platform that we use. So this is the platform. It's pretty standard across higher ed. We work with our partners to essentially funnel all of the job opportunities and internship opportunities that are available to art and design students to this site. We have a person in my office who looks at every single opportunity before we list it. So it's got to be relevant to art and designers, right? Like, we know you probably don't want to be doing anything related to finance. Maybe you do, but that's probably not going to be something you would find in our specific Handshake page. In addition to funneling these opportunities into Handshake, every single student gets a profile page for Handshake when you start CCS, day one. So you start to populate that with experiences that you've had, sponsored projects that you've worked on, jobs that you've had over the summer, et cetera. This page links directly to the portfolio site. So if an employer is posting a job that you're interested in, you can apply through Handshake and they will instantly have access to your portfolio site. So our career coaches are here to walk you through the steps to do all of this. But once you get it done, take a deep breath and then just let the magic happen. So I think it's so important to make sure you're using these resources. We also have someone in my office who, as the opportunities come in every week, will send a weekly email to each department specifically that's curated for that department with any new opportunities that came in from Handshake for that area. So it's a pretty robust system, but we're really looking to match students with internships and jobs as quickly as possible. And lastly, I did want to just mention InterStride is a newer platform we're using that really helps our international students find opportunities that may be possible in the United States. We also have a new group that we're working with called the Michigan Career Connection. It's a relatively newer resource, but essentially it's like an online career coach that you get for free. So they are actually doing similar things that we're doing and offering you career guidance, but also connecting you with opportunities that they're also receiving. So highly encourage any new student or current students to use this website because they're doing a lot of work for you and then giving you a lot of resources that could help you as you look for jobs and internships. So industry engagement, I know I talked a little bit about our specific portfolio reviews and company presentations. This is a snapshot of the companies we had on campus just in the fall semester. So this isn't even a full list of companies we had on campus throughout this past semester. So this is just this fall semester. So you can see it kind of runs the gamut of different types of companies all coming to campus, talking with students, doing portfolio reviews, talking about open positions they may have. It's a pretty wonderful list and it continues to grow every year. Our company engagement and portfolio reviews have also significantly increased. And the reason I'm showing this is because this was a direct reflection of listening to the students and meeting them where they were as far as wanting more portfolio reviews with partners and seeing the value in that. Because not only is it good because you get that professional feedback on your portfolio, but it helps you to start to build a network and also talk about your work, which is going to be essential as an artist and designer. So these were some of the activities that we had this year. You can see here that we've had some really great activities that are happening. I'm hopeful that you're seeing the department that you may or may not be interested in here, but we will be filling in some of this other information shortly. We just kind of completed these last few, but they were super successful, had really great representation from industry. And then curricular experiential learning. So that is really hands-on learning as part of your curriculum. So that includes sponsored projects, for credit internships, and finally, job placement. So what's included in educational partnerships is the sponsored project model, which I'll talk about here in a second, where we put together projects that go directly into the classroom. This is a process that my office undertakes with the collaboration of the academic chairs and departments. So we will work really closely with a partner to develop a project scope that all of the students in the class will generally work on. That's a 15-week class. It's all really meant to build up your portfolio to have a really amazing piece. And I'm going to show you a couple of videos that talk about this particular program that we have. But essentially, what's really wonderful about it is these partners are in the classroom working with students hand in hand to develop solutions to design problems or problems that they're potentially facing in the workplace. And it gives the students opportunity for professional development, but real world application of their skills. So at the very end, you're going to come out with an amazing portfolio piece that you can then share for self-promotion. But also these are funded. So a lot of the money that we receive to do this will cover the cost of the final deliverable that you come up with. If you're automotive, it'll be a vehicle. If you're in interior design, it will be final material trays. Like we work with the department chairs to figure out what you need. We also very often are able to provide scholarships for these types of projects. And finally, field trips to go out and actually see what everyone's doing in the industry to make it really a real world opportunity and experience. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but we generally, like I said, will run 12 to 15 partnerships every semester. Generally, they are 15-week long commitments, but we also have design sprints that last 5 weeks. We have competitions that we put into classes that last 7 weeks. So we do lots of different things. Students seem to really enjoy those. So you can see here, this is just impact over the past couple of years. This is the amount of scholarship money we were able to give out by doing these partnerships. And these go directly to the students. So you can see it continually is between 300 and 400 students. And we, just this year, I think this number is actually closer to 32. So all departments participate. It's pretty amazing. This is a snapshot of the companies we worked with last year. So we'll be updating this for the new academic year, but it's just all types of industry and all departments. And then just really quickly, our internships. So we do offer internships for credit. Highly recommend that our students take advantage of this. Reason being, we offer a reduced rate to pay for a 4-credit internship. And essentially the reason is we want you to do these internships. So we can replace an elective class with a 4-credit internship at a much lower amount. So if you're paying upwards of $4,000 for one elective class, we charge you $450. Then you get your 3 credits, you don't pay that much, and essentially you're getting paid at your internship. So we find so much value in these real world experiences for our students. We want them to do it. We want to make it that there's not many barriers to participation. So we will work with you to find those internships and then fill out the necessary paperwork to participate. Highly, highly recommend doing this. You can do up to 2 while you're at CCS. So creative connections. I'm going to talk a little bit about this in a minute when I show you some videos, but this is really about bridging all of those opportunities into these projects that I was talking about, bringing industry into the classroom and the impact that it has. So I'm going to show you some videos, but just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of the team. This is the Office of Partnerships team. We are here to help you out, and we are all very dedicated to supporting our students. So I'm going to stop share just for a moment. And if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to pull up some videos. But first, I am going to ask Eric. I don't see you.
You don't see me?
I see you. I see you now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back
If
on audio.
Okay, if you could let me know some of the departments we have here.
Sure. So we've got several. We have communication, design, and strategy, and that's what we call it by name. So some of you may have said other things like graphic design or what have you. I know somebody had mentioned digital illustration, but that would be the illustration major. We also have interdisciplinary art and design, transportation design, and studio art and craft.
All right.
If you need
Wonderful.
any of those, just let me know.
Okay. Well, that all sounds amazing. I'm just looking to see if I have some videos that I can show. So I think the first one you said was the communication design department, which I work with very, very closely. Amazing students. My work study for the past 4 years has been from that department, and I can't speak highly enough about those students and what they learn and what they present. They've done so many different types of projects with industry. They're almost every semester doing at least 1 or 2. They just actually completed a project to design the new billboards for the Movement Festival downtown Detroit. They also completed a project looking at U of M Dearborn's interpretive educational center and really thinking about the customer experience involved in that. So they're doing a wide variety of projects. Here's one that they completed. Just gives you a quick snapshot of a project they did. So I'm going to just show that to you. There we go. This was a project we did for the Veterans Association. Confirming you can hear the sound.
I do not hear the sound.
All right. Sorry about that. That's my fault. One sec. There we go. Okay. Let me start. Oh, here we go.
Yep, we're good.
This is a block, amongst many other names. You've seen one before. It's the brick that makes our buildings, the nucleus of an atom, even embedded in the very fabric on our back. Blocks are a lot like us. To each, there is a story, amongst many other names. Where we're from, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. And just like us, they need each other. Friends, family, comrades, amongst many other names. Because together, we are stronger. Rain to shine, in unity and diversity. Because we understand that to every hospital, there is a patient, amongst many other names. And we can't wait to serve you.
So that was a project we did with the VA, I think last fall, and that was the local VA from Detroit. And what was really exciting about that is I believe the national group saw this project and was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. We want to learn more about it. How do we get involved? Can we do more? So it really led to a lot more conversation. So what else do we have, Eric? Transportation, I think you said.
We have transportation,
Great.
illustration, interdis, and studio art and craft.
Okay. I'm going to pull up a transportation one really quick. Give me a moment. Okay. Dear. Okay, so just a few examples of some projects we've done. This one was really cool. It was with John Deere. And they actually made a YouTube series on their channel. I don't know if you're familiar with John Deere, but they have a fairly big following on YouTube. So they made a whole documentary about this process for this class. So if you have a moment and you want to type in John Deere and CCS, you can watch the process that these students went through. But essentially they were looking at what John Deere may look like if they were out in space in 2050, 2070. What does a John Deere vehicle look like on the moon? So some of our projects are really out there in a sense that we're thinking about the future. Our president likes to say we're not on the cutting edge, we're creating the cutting edge. And so a lot of our projects really might be looking 50 years out at the next gen of spaceships, for example. But what's really exciting is the companies aren't necessarily coming to CCS because they want you to create something that they don't have. They want to come in and get some fresh perspective on things, but also it's really a recruiting tool. They want to come into the classroom and get to know you to see if you would be a good fit for their company. So it's really exciting. So here was some of that's what, the future of John Deere on the moon looks like. Pretty exciting. So we had some really great concepts. And then you can see here, two of our partners were on campus to really look through and give feedback. So the other great thing about the partners being on campus is that they are in the studio with the students. They're giving regular feedback. They're letting you know what is relevant to industry and where you can make improvements, but they're also telling you what you're doing really well so you can continue to build that skill set.
And I'd like to add something to that. So I put in the chat, I had worked at 2 other art and design colleges, and I can tell you for a fact that there's no other college I've worked for that has had as many sponsored projects as we have, or as many companies coming to recruit on campus on average as we do each year. So we got you covered.
Yes, yes, we do. So I'll show another one here. This is a video. I hope that's okay. And then I can stop and ask and answer questions. But this one was a project that we recently completed with Stuart Weitzman, which is Coach Stuart Weitzman and Kate Spade. And they are a fairly regular partner of ours. They do projects pretty regularly with our fashion department, with our color and materials students. So a lot of our projects are interdisciplinary. They're not just one department. It could be fashion and color materials. It could be EA animation and transportation design, working on a game project where the animation or game design students creating an environment, and then our transportation students are creating a car that exists within that environment. We did that with Unity recently. So we try to mix it up to make sure that students are working interdisciplinary, because that's really reflective of the industry now. You're not working in silos, you're working with each other. So we try to do that as well. And that's what industry is saying they want to see as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'll show this video really quick. Just one moment.
Why was this great? Why are sponsored projects so important?
Okay. Sponsored projects are essential. We always want to make sure that the students get to see the real work environment. I have many students that came immediately to me that didn't say this before. They immediately said, I want to work here. What do I do to be able to work here? And that's what you want. The project brief was to design something for 2030, 2035 consumer. And we thought with Stuart Weitzman group that it would be great to do it with the current students, because they are the future consumer. So to have this opportunity to work with leading luxury footwear brand in the world was super exciting. The thought process was quite broad and free, and it was very good that they came to visit us for the midterms to give feedback for the students to see what direction they should take.
When you look at prototypes, which is when I went to the school, you see a very raw part of the process that could turn into anything. My biggest interest was to give the right type of criticism and advice for them to achieve what they wanted to achieve creatively. Overall, they all took the advice and they turned it into something really, really great.
Students have made all the shoes by hand, many versions of them, until they brought the final versions here to New York. And to present them to the leaders in our industry was, of course, you know, a little bit nervousness was seen here and there, but in general, it went so well.
This is the students
I
in New
was
York
inspired
City at their
by
headquarters.
the love that I see in making shoes, in thinking about shoes, in looking at the details, and ask questions. I remember, you know, when I was young, sometimes I was always thinking, is this the right question? There is no right question, just ask question.
The only way that I can find inspiration is when someone inspires me to think differently or to think about something in a different way. There's nothing to me more exciting than to talk to students that have dreams and new ideas.
It's so important to show the craftsmanship to people that understand it. So we felt like we were at home with Stuart Weitzman, and we're forever grateful for that.
Okay. So that just kind of gives you the depth and breadth that we will go with our partners. We worked closely with them to determine what the project scope was. We flew the students out to New York. They got to stay there for 2 days. They were presenting to leadership at Stuart Weitzman. And that was, I think, their first project. And they've done many more after that. So I'll stop there and just see if there are questions from the attendees about anything that I've talked about, something I didn't talk about that you want to hear about.